Wait, who's going to hedonism?
Is that
Are you going to hedonism?
Whatever.
You ever see the
Family Show?
Yes.
When they go to hedonism?
Yeah.
And they go on like Thanksgiving vacation.
Oh my God, yeah.
There's nobody there.
There's nobody there, yeah. It's the best. Welcome everybody, it's Fat Jack's Comicrypt. Brendan, Al, Jason, hanging out. The tripod is in effect. The tripod.
Hiya.
There was a joke there. I'm not going to make it.
Now we're the four because Jerry's in there too.
That is true.
What's up, Jerry?
Jerry's hanging out with us. How you been, Jerry?
Welcome back, brother.
So, we're hanging out until 8 o'clock.
And then the millions of viewers also.
Oh, yeah, millions. what do we have, 3? 4? 2. Oh. Yeah, one of them's you.
3.
3. All right.
And one of them's Kyle.
One of them's probably my dog.
She just turns it on to listen to your voice.
Yeah. She likes to know I'm alive because when I leave the house, she's afraid I'm dead. You know. Thanks for joining us. We're hanging out here. We're here until 8, so maybe more people will show up. If not, Jason and I will do everything on our power to keep Al entertained, so he doesn't start to completely tap out. You can always feel. I can feel it when things are slowing down, because Al just sort of drifts away. He suddenly has other things to do.
I'm thinking about dinner.
Yeah.
I gotta order something.
Yeah. That reminds me, I'm hungry.
I think my mom called me.
Anyway, reclaim sale show. We're trying to sell some books. Best way to do that: claim them in the chat. Be as specific as possible. No matter what we're talking about, ask questions, claim stuff in the chat, and we will prioritize that. No matter what garbage is flowing out of our mouths. The best way, claim the books. That's the best way to do it. Afterwards, this is how you get the books.
If everybody could also be as specific as possible, just issue title or issue number title, and just kind of keep it. Just say the word claim or anything, because a lot of times if somebody, you guys know.
Yeah, or if anything else, be like, I want the book with the guy in the red thing doing the thing on the cover with the. So if you're in the Philadelphia area and you are close to our Center City shop here, which is where we are located right now, you could pick up any of your books here behind the register. If you are closer to our Oakland, New Jersey shop, we will send the books over there for you to pick up. If you are outside of the area and you need us to ship books to you, and if you've shopped with us before, we probably have your contact and your shipping information and so forth. I will send out invoices in the beginning of the week. If you are shopping with us for the very first time and we're going to need to get that contact and shipping information, the best way to do that is to email us at fjccshow@gmail.com. Al handles that. There you go. All that good stuff. So the one thing that we're going to try to get better at is anything that is claimed tonight, and especially after Al sends out the invoices, 10 days, please purchase. We will ship it out, all that good fun. After 10 days, maybe Al sends out a second invoice. Maybe, something happened or what have you.
Maybe.
But after 10 days, we have to assume
You're dead.
Well, we're doing this to sell books. We can't hold on to your collection.
So, yeah. So I'm
we're
just
more than happy. 10 days or just some contact as to why you haven't paid. We just need to know.
Shit happens. We're open to the idea that shit happens.
Life is hard for sure, and we all have bills and responsibilities.
Right. Like we had a customer last week who contacted us a day after, the following day, and been like, "Oh, hey, those 2 books I claimed, I actually found out I have them," and we were like, "Thank you so much for telling us." It's such a quick turnaround, because we'll just put those books right back into rotation and all that kind of stuff. So again, as Al and I like to joke around, we are terrible businessmen, but we represent Fat Jacks and Mike, and so we are trying to do our best so we can we can keep this going and this train moving. And whatever conversation Jason has decided is more important than the business. No,
This is business.
I feel like a teacher. And I'm like, I don't know what conversation you're having, but it's obviously
This is
more
strictly
important than
business.
the conversation
I
I'm
never
having.
post my credit card. That's what I'm asking.
Okay, all right, good stuff.
To the party in the chat, to Mr. and Mrs. FC, I'm afraid we don't have any omnibuses today, but it's strictly single issues and what we like to call bundles.
Yeah, we do have story bundles where we take a bunch of single issue back issues, we bundle them together into either story arcs, complete series, and then we mark them down to such a ridiculous value. I'm still shocked that I've been able to get away with these for as long. The fact that they sell pretty well is probably the only reason I've been able to get away with pricing them as low as I have. But yeah, sorry, no bundles, nothing like that, no trades or anything.
Plenty of bundles.
Omnibus.
Plenty of bundles.
Yeah. Bundles, no omnibus.
Bundles, actually.
Mr. Live, you got to listen to the Johnny Cash song, the Ballad of John Henry. That's all you need.
What is that in reference to?
He's doing a John Henry treatment.
Oh,
Or
cool.
He's doing research on a John Henry treatment.
Nice. All right. Good stuff. Gary's good at that.
He's always doing something.
Yeah, no. There are times where I go weeks without drawing, and then I listen to how much Gary writes, and I go, I'm awful.
It's exceptional. Like Ty was really good for that too.
Mm-hmm.
Like he still is, but
Very active.
the discipline of
Yeah.
it to keep. And Juan, I don't know if he's watching.
No. Oh my God, dude.
Juan is, he says he's like, I keep doing my art because you don't want to see.
It's a muscle. It's a muscle.
Stagnation is terrible.
Yeah. And if you don't keep working on your art, anybody out there, you're a writer, you're an artist, painter, musician, whatever the case may be, no matter how depressed you are, no matter how much you want to give up and all that crap, trust me, this asshole's done it before. Don't just every day, even if it's the most unenjoyable thing, keep working that muscle. It will atrophy. It will weaken. You will lose your skills, no matter how talented you are. Your learned skills will go away. All right. So let's think. Anyone wants to follow us on social media, check out our Instagram page at the FJC Paradox. Appreciate all the support. We even picked up a couple of followers during the last the past hour. Yeah, I just checked it real quick because sometimes people contact me during the show, and I just got to make sure we're not forgetting anything or missing any kind of communication.
This social butterfly over here.
Yeah.
This influencer.
Yeah.
Master influencer.
Oh yeah, just rocking it.
Influencing what?
Wait till you see my reels. Yeah.
Oh, I've seen him.
Yeah. In fact, I'm getting to the point where I'm pretty much just going to pose Parker, my dog, and just put comics in front of her and be like, "There you go. I've done my due diligence."
Oh, we can do that, and then we can get out of here.
Yeah, sure. But hey, one thing I will say though, streak is still alive. One post every day since it started. We broke past 500 posts. Yeah, we're at like 506 or 507. And not that this matters, but we're closing in on 250 followers. And considering that at least once a week we lose one or two of them is saying something.
2 steps forward. Just leave it at that.
Yeah, because somebody like tunes into the show and goes, "Oh, not these guys." Like, no. I know what they do this. I know what they stand for. It's not what I stand for.
Where's Jen King?
All right, so let's think. Any other business that we're forgetting? Anything?
Sound like good business there.
All right.
Well, good. If anybody, like you said, any questions, please don't hesitate. Just hit us up in the chat and stop us at any time.
Especially if you are joining us for the first time,
Please, yeah.
you're the priority. No matter what we're talking about, no matter what's happening, I just want to reiterate this. Al is he watches the chat, he maintains it and stuff like that. We try not to miss anything, but you are the priority, okay? Sometimes when nothing's happening in the chat, that's when we really get off the rails because we have to entertain ourselves here. But so please do not hesitate. No matter what is happening, you are the priority. So with that said, unless something comes up that will, be a priority, I'm just going to kind of meander around and talk about some of the spotlight books that we have up here tonight, a few of the bundles, things of that nature, and we'll just sort of move along throughout the course of the evening. Again, it's just the three of us, and Jason technically is not an employee.
Not even here.
So we are open. If you are like, do you have certain things? We will try to answer that. Maybe a couple times. We might even be able to grab it, a new book or something along those lines. But
That's a good Michael Jackson quote. He said, I wish I practiced more. Like one of his big regrets. I feel like he should have had bigger regrets.
I'm gonna go.
I'm just saying.
I mean,
Yeah.
he should have. His father should have had.
I feel like he
That
should
him.
have regretted more than he did.
Just
That's
saying.
all I'm saying. Just gonna leave it at that.
Maybe in a way, he should have practiced less and not been as successful. Maybe that would have prevented him from having access to other bigger regrets. Sometimes success and money open you to avenues of, let's call them, greater regrets. Things you should be ashamed of.
Like Bleeding Gums Murphy, with his Fabergé egg collection.
Yeah. Kind of forgot about that. Good.
He's in the gutter. Anyway.
Good times. Good times.
Anyway, moving on.
All right, moving on. Let's kill somebody. All right.
Whoa,
and-
whoa.
Hey, no, it's a segue. It's a segue.
Literally, not
Calm
literally,
down.
not literally.
Calm down. Not literally. We're going to fictionally kill somebody.
I pretend it. No.
And it's a character that most people consider to be annoying because, let's be honest, this character died because the majority of fans decided that character needed to die. And that character is, 1, Robin 2, the stealer of car tires, Jason effing Todd. That's right. Here we have Batman 428 Part 3 of the Death in the Family storyline with awesome covers by Mike Mignola. But in case you're unaware, issue 427, Part 2 of Death in the Family, at the very end of the issue, gave a phone number and said, hey, fans, call in and vote. Should Jason Todd live or die? Now, considering that the issue ended with the Joker literally bashing Jason Todd's brains out with a crowbar, they might have led the audience into a certain answer. But in terms of the reaction, and despite the conspiracy theory that somebody had a like an early, like back in the late 80s, you'd have these like weird, they weren't answering machines, but they were these strange machines you could connect to your phone, and it would just cold call people. It would just go through. You would put in a bunch of numbers or one number, and the thing would just keep calling over and over again.
It would just hit sequence.
Yes, over and over again. So there is a conspiracy theory that a couple fans, kind of like how a small minority on Twitter, with a lot of bots and eggs, create this illusion of a large majority. And then corporations fall in line thinking that millions of people are mad at a dumb joke that some of the directors of some of their better movies.
10 people call us. That means 1 million people call us.
There you go. Well, there's a conspiracy theory.
We should figure out how to capitalize on that.
We really should, yeah. We really need more bots in our chat.
Don't, because the show is shut down tomorrow. All right?
Okay.
We actually do get a fair amount.
We do. The best one of all time, I think it happened during one of the local shows, but it's when we got propositioned for sex. That was a good one. that was fun.
Yeah, he's a good dude. He shops you.
Anyway, this is the infamous issue where you found out the result of that. By the way, it was not a toll-free call. Just so we're clear. Can you imagine?
$2-3.
Yeah, can you imagine the money whoever like DC made from just people calling in?
I'm surprised they didn't do that.
They
I'm
were.
surprised nobody else did that.
Right.
I think a lot.
I mean, the 900 number was big in the 90s for sure.
Yeah.
Like 80s and 90s. But
Yeah.
like, nobody else did a gimmick like this where they capitalized on it.
Real quick. I want to say, okay, so this is a Fine Plus copy. That condition is primarily, it's not a break, but there is like this crease right here, primarily because of like whenever it was being held, some book was laying on it weird, so it created a crease. It can easily be pressed out, but again, that is not what we do. So we're just judging it based on its condition. Fine Plus, $15. Again, this is one of the most infamous issues in all of comic book history. I mean, just look at that cover. But the question I want to ask my buddies here, any of you ever called a 900 number?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, like what age?
The first time I did, it was like a wrestling hotline.
Okay, all right.
It would play, during Saturday morning. I can't remember what the thing, but we called when I was at a friend's house and we were watching wrestling, and we called on his phone. And I think either later that day or maybe like a week later, his mom was like, "You're not allowed to use the phone anymore." Like we were just sitting there watching, and we're like, "Oh yeah, we didn't understand." We're like, "Yeah, okay."
$5 the first minute and $3 every additional minute.
It was the dumb. It was like Hulk Hogan says hi to you or something. It was like the dumb.
Hello, my name is Hulk.
It might have been. It was just commentary of what was on.
Oh my God.
Saturday. It was like so. It was JR talking.
Okay, all right.
I,
Jason, you ever call a 900 number? It was a sex line too, wasn't it? It wasn't.
1-900 fat girl.
What?
yeah. Was that?
You don't remember?
Was that like PH?
Yeah, it's Jersey, Philadelphia thing. Yeah.
Fat girl?
1-800
1-900 fat girl?
Was
Hey,
it-
chat, anybody in the Jersey,
Yeah.
Philly area, do you remember a 1-900 fat
If you
girl?
call it,
And real quick, if any women are watching, which you're probably not, this is just a historical context. It is not something that we condone.
To Mr. Berry in the chat, real quick, I'm sorry.
Yeah, please.
Your package will go out tomorrow. I apologize for the delay, but it's ready to go. It's just we got a little backed up last week, but it's definitely going.
that and the box. Do you remember the box?
Of course, I remember the box. Yeah, the box was awesome.
Everybody called box. Like,
Well, you called the box because they would not play your Faith No More music video.
You call it the box because you want to see Too Hot Proof.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're like, show me the movies. Where's Rump Shaker? You won't play Rump Shaker. What the hell? That was great.
That was great back in the day. Did you put a
Oh, so
message
good.
in there?
So good.
Like
Yeah,
that?
yeah. But did you get in trouble for calling a 1-900 number?
Yeah, we didn't do it on my phone. It's a friend's phone that his
Okay,
parents
all
were.
What happened?
Mr. White got in trouble because he called the Who Killed JR.
No way. I can imagine though, if you were like really into that show in an era where like, oh my God, to wait for that reveal.
It's like
Oh,
they would say like don't ask parents permission, but like you don't know why. You just think because you're not allowed to use a phone.
No,
But,
they,
like, for
they
a
only
child?
had to say ask for the permission. Doesn't mean they can't call.
Exactly. It's just like hey,
Well,
use the phone.
it's the way that apps have become that, where there's all these, no matter how many parental controls of some of these apps that you put in, it's very easy for kids to turn the money app off. So suddenly this kid just keeps pressing a button to get more berries or I don't know what the hell the currency is. And suddenly before you know it, and again, my other job, like I deal with some legal stuff and everything like that, and I've done some people's bankruptcies, and the amount of credit card debt, $150,000 worth of
Hey. Don't tell my
app.
business off.
app charges, okay? No, I'm just saying it's insane. And
I
again,
know.
it's like an 8-year-old girl playing one of those awful Kardashian apps, and she racks up a $35,000 credit card
So
bill.
Facebook has got hit for, I think they're down 100 billion. What?
$217 billion. Yes, as a company.
Which
Yeah.
I don't like Apple. Again,
All right, well, let's not get too far into that.
we're going.
All right.
Love it.
Another day.
We got some books to sell.
Yeah. But no, but I do like everyone think about that. I'm curious if anyone has any experiences with getting in trouble calling 1-900 numbers.
We got books we got.
Yeah.
Come on, what did you guys do?
All right, so we talked about our Batman 428, Death of Jason Todd. Next up, we are going to talk about Thunderbolts #1. It is not the first appearance of the Thunderbolts. That is Incredible Hulk 428. It doesn't matter. It's an Incredible Hulk issue. But this is the first issue of the very long-running Thunderbolts volume. And for anyone, if you're wondering, Thunderbolts are going to become a big deal in the Marvel Universe or Marvel Cinematic Universe going forward. People are still debating, is it going to be Thunderbolts, Dark Avengers, a version of both? Don't know quite yet. But if you, the first appearance has skyrocketed in value. And right behind it, the first issue here by Kurt Busiek and Mark Bagley, where we still in fact, it's this issue, at the very, very end of this issue, we find out probably, in terms of the late 90s, Marvel and DC late 90s, not good books. They just weren't. The mainstream stuff, except, like, were awful. In regards to Marvel, you had the Marvel Knight stuff, which was good. Right after this, soon after this came the Kurt Busiek, George Perez, Avengers, and there were some decent ones. But this was in that period, like 96, 97. Man, there was just nothing good. And the amount of people who ignored this issue because they're like, a bargain basement Avengers when like I'm not going to buy this. And then the few people who bought it and they read the issue and they went, and this is before spoiler culture and everything like that, people just naturally went, buy Thunderbolts #1 and tell me what you think when you get to the reveal at the very end. Everyone's like, a reveal? And the big reveal, which 20 some odd years later doesn't sound like that big of a deal. But again, if you were reading comic books at this time, this was a groundbreaking reveal. And that is the idea that this pretending to be an Avengers, pretending to be a good guys, was in fact a bunch of Baron Zemo and Master of Evil villains pretending to be good guys, specifically for dastardly plans and stuff like that. So this was a very iconic. This was a huge book at the time because it reminded some people like me, that even mainstream superhero comics from Marvel and DC can still surprise. And I give Busiek a lot of credit. That was a smart move on his part. So again, Justice Like Lightning, Thunderbolts, #1, double-sized debut excitement. Citizen V, Atlas, Mach 5, Songbird, all these guys. This is a very fine copy at $20. And real quick, now, that one right there is a mid-grade copy, so don't get too excited. And that one there has a lot of value, primarily because at the point when this final issue of this series, which I will talk about in a second, came out, they published barely 5,000, maybe 6,000 copies of this particular issue. And I'm talking about America, Volume 1, America Chavez, Miss America, a character who obviously has exploded, primarily because she is, without a doubt, just go look at the Doctor Strange 2, Madness of the Multiverse, whatever its subtitle is called, the trailer. There she is. She's right there in her denim jacket. Yeah, sorry. Zayn, my friend, it is so good to see you.
Zayn, I came in on Friday. Listen for you.
Zayn!
Hey, what happened?
What happened, man? Zayn's like, I want to hang out with that Tom kid.
Hey. I got a better Al. That's what.
I got to tell you one thing. No matter who the new guy is, and no matter how bad they bag his books, Zayn is just the ultimate patient, appreciative, thankful. He says thank you. He encourages them. He says it's wonderful to meet you.
I like to hope he's dying inside.
Henry, are you watching? Because one of my favorite things of all time was the first time you bagged up Zayn's books. The first Friday you ever worked. And I sat there watching it happen. And I think I wanted to crawl into a hole and never come back out again.
Is that when Zayn was like...
You know, where Zayn backed up and was trying to breathe?
And was like, does Wayne Brady have to choke a fish?
We're at a point now. I wonder how many people get that reference.
I don't know.
This like almost 20 years now. That's almost a 20-year reference.
Yeah.
Like,
Do you remember Dave Chappelle?
yeah, well, yeah, we do, because we literally had a conversation with Duke at a party of yours where Duke was about to cut us. Like, Duke suddenly got like, he's like, you're criticizing a black man. You're a bunch of white dudes. I don't care what the criticism is. I might cut you. And we were like,
I was enjoying the view. I was not involved in the conversation in any way, shape, or form.
I've never seen Al be so detached.
oh, yeah.
You don't hang out with her.
Yeah. Where Al wanders off and stares at the skyline.
I'm like, that's a nice skyline. I like what's going on here.
I don't need to talk to them. Then anytime.
Who are you people?
Anyway, so America Chavez, she finally got her first ongoing series. This is issue number 1. Regrettably, it is not a high-grade copy because right here is some cover smudging. So some of the color has been rubbed off, which is why I've graded it at a fine plus and why it is only an $8 book instead of the normal $15 to $20 that a high-grade copy will usually cost you of this issue. And again, just to be clear, when it comes to a character that, in my opinion, and a lot of other people believe this, is probably going to blow up once she's introduced in the Doctor Strange sequel movie, to the point where Disney and Marvel are already banking on it because they've already said that they're going to do a spin-off miniseries on Disney Plus focusing on America Chavez. So we'll see. But more importantly, her series ran for 12 issues. Obviously, she wasn't a big character quite yet. So Marvel pulled the plug because Marvel is very quick to give up very fast, especially because they're addicted to new number ones. And in their mind, they're like, screw it, cancel the series. We'll put out a new number 1. The numbers will all go up. We'll pretend like it's a new series, and then we'll cancel that. And then we'll put out a new number 1. Anyway, but in terms of anyone who's looking for rare comics, sometimes final issues of a series that is about to be canceled, they become some of the rarest books. Look at the first volume of Transformers, first volume of G.I. Joe, published by Marvel. The last couple issues of Conan the Barbarian by Marvel, usually being canceled somewhere in the early mid-90s. Maybe there's a pattern here.
Those flat Moonlight issues.
Oh, yeah, there's last Moon Knight issues. The last couple Warlock and the Infinity Watch issues. The last couple Silver Surfer Volume 2 issues. Again, they're rare. And there are some books where there's tons of copies of, and yet they still have some value because of some key thing. But then some other books, the value is the rarity, okay? And this one is no exception. And it is America number 12, the final issue of America Chavez's Miss America's first series. This is, again, like I said, I think they maybe published about 6,000 at most copies of this book, which is why high-grade copies are averaging somewhere between $30 and $40. This copy we have here is, like I said, or no, I didn't say this yet. This is a high-grade copy, and we have it here for $25. And it's the only copy we have. I was lucky enough to discover this in the Greg hole when I was desperately digging for anything.
We take a quick break.
Oh, break time.
Bye.
Imagine being at a convention and going to an interview panel that's just for you. No bustling crowds, no hours-long lines, just you, the moderator, and your favorite comic book creators. Well, this is pretty much that. Miss Jen sits down every week with 2 comic book creators for a live stream interview about their latest work, and you can ask them whatever you want. It's Talking Shop, Mondays at 5 Eastern on The Experience, Comic Culture and Sales. To be continued. 3 little words that hold the secret to the next great story. 3 words that will thrill you, confound you, give life to new possibilities. Every variation of To Be Continued is a promise of adventure, a promise of excitement, a promise of unseen wonders and unexplored worlds. A promise that every issue you read makes you a part of a never-ending journey, and behind every page there will be an unopened door waiting for you. This story to be continued at your local comic book shop today. Visit ComicShopLocator.com today.
Hi, I'm Nathan Fox. I'm chair of the MFA Visual Narrative Program at the School of Visual Arts, as well as co-creator and artist on the Weatherman series through Image Comics. And you are watching The Experience.
That I think, and especially because Man of Steel at the time was not an overly, yes, all Superman books in the early 90s were like heavily published and stuff like that, but Man of Steel was not Superman regular in terms of like publishing numbers. Okay, we're back.
Hello.
So let me just acknowledge what we're talking about. Okay, so most of you are aware of probably one of the most famous moments to ever occur in comic book history. Primarily because, and this is how the industry works, whenever local news stations on the 10 o'clock news decide to deem the industry to be paid attention to for even a 5-minute spot in between, whatever war we're going into, whatever rise in inflation we're experiencing, they throw in some good feeling story. And it's usually Spider-Man's gay or
So now Superman's black.
yeah, that kind of stuff. Well, back in 1992, the biggest story, even to the point where Mike got interviewed by every Philadelphia local station. You can go back, look up in YouTube, look up Mike Ferreira, Death of Superman, and maybe you'll see the interview on ABC News and NBC and CBS and Fox or whatever. And what were
I think 60 minutes. Too.
60 minutes? Yeah,
60 minutes.
it was like the time when Leonard Nimoy died, and it's a famous female reporter, and she showed up, and she's like, "Do you want to be on air? And do you have any thoughts?" And I was like, "No, not really." And she's like, "Please." I'm like, "Okay, fine." And I stood there, and she was like, "Tell me about Star Trek." And then I went on a half-an-hour rant that I'm pretty sure never aired, and she regretted every moment. Yes. Anyway, what we are obviously talking about is the death of Superman. And no, we don't have Superman 75 up here. You don't see a black polybagged issue or anything like that. It's specifically about the character that killed Superman, a la Doomsday. And what we have right here is the first appearance. Yes, it is a first printing. It is the first appearance of Doomsday, Superman, the Man of Steel, number 18. There he is, punching through. He hasn't even been exposed yet, and his weird white hair and strange, like, does he even have his weird, like, things poking through? No, he doesn't yet. Yeah, so he doesn't have that weird eczema. It's like the worst eczema that has ever existed. He's got barnacles and stuff. Okay, so and what we were just talking about is this is a book. This is a first appearance that has absolutely maintained its value. Okay, so sometimes we talk about how sometimes speculation can cause spikes in value, and those spikes sometimes can be a little misleading because, like we talked about before, if a book is suddenly 5 times its original value, probably assume once the sort of the FOMO, as some people like to call it, kind of calms down, the new value will probably come closer to like double or triple the value, because we talk about it like you start to create a floor. And the first appearance of Doomsday, because it's a character that has persisted, it's a character that has showed up in Smallville, it's a character that technically showed up in Batman v Superman, even though it looked more like a Lord of the Rings orc mixed with Michael Bay's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But still, it's a character that most people who don't even read comics are aware of. So the first appearance of this villain has maintained some of its value. But the reason why we are bringing this out here, it's a high-grade copy at $30, is because there is now new interest in the character because of there's a TV show right now. And am I getting it right? Is it Superman and Lois? Is that the title? It's not Lois and Clark. I know that.
Yeah, Superman and Lois.
It's Superman and Lois, which is it CW? Is that like C? Why? Just answer my question. They can't see your facial
I
expressions.
think it's the UPN.
Hey, you want to talk about?
It's not a
Man, there's a 20-year reference.
It's
Is the frog portraying this?
Yeah, he's like,
it's a UHF channel.
yeah.
It's on channel 11. All right, thank you.
There you go. Anyway, Superman and Lois, the next season is going to have the main villain will be Doomsday. And so because of that, the character is back in the news, back in the cultural zeitgeist. And so because of that, we have one copy of the first printing. I dug it out, and I'm showing it off to you folks. There we go. All right, so Superman, the Man of Steel, number 18, first appearance of Doomsday.
Oh, is he?
Is that the best supervillain reveal? Asks Mr. Lyon. I don't think so, but I can't think of a better example right now. But I'm sure there is.
Well, okay, all right. Gary, this how are we defining the reveal? Because I will give them credit.
See, that's also my question.
He's never been a good guy. He's always been a villain.
Because you could argue like the Thunderbolts reveal was a better reveal than this one, but it's different.
But it's different
It's
because
different in tone and
yeah, especially because the Thunderbolts reveal. What really made it shocking is when they revealed who they really were. If you were a big Marvel zombie, as they like to call it, you knew who those. Like that's Screaming Mimi. That's the Fixer. That's Goliath. Like you knew who those characters were. Doomsday was a brand new character.
It'd be the best if he pulled the mask off and he was Brainiac or some shit like that.
Yeah, but I mean, he was.
Actually, it's a really good question, Gary. I like this one because I do give the Superman writers a lot of credit because. Wait, what?
So I gotta say no, he's wrong.
No, okay, real quick. No, wait, time out. First of all, he's asking.
I'm
He's
not.
not,
Yeah.
And you don't get to talk shit on Gary, all right?
Gary, I'm fighting you on this. I disagree.
Gary wrote us a poem, my friend.
I know,
I butchered it reading it, but you don't get to criticize someone like that. but Gary has a good point, though, in terms of I think what he's referencing in regards to a reveal. It was like 6 months, and we're talking 4 different Superman titles at the time.
Yeah.
And every now and again, it'd be like a panel. It'd be like a silhouette of something punching, or there'd be like a crack, like this. You know what? No, I don't have a better example. And that's why. So when it finally happened, it was like a big deal because people were like, "Who the hell is this?"
It was also at a good time because the only thing I can think of is Red Hulk nonsense.
Oh God, yeah.
And everybody was like, "Who's the Red Hulk?" What? And it was kind of cool because everybody was interested, but nobody really enjoyed the story, and everybody was miserable through it.
And the reveal was terrible, especially if you shopped here at Fat Jack's Comicrypt at the time, because when anyone would go, "Who do you think the Red Hulk is?" This jackass would go, "Thunderbolt Ross." And they go, "Well, how do you know?" And I'm like, "Because it's obvious."
He would go, "It's Thunderbolt Ross. I'm convinced."
If that's what you guys go
And
on,
then he would just walk away.
I gotta say Venom. Venom's a better reveal.
Venom's a better. Okay,
If you want to do one series, like one panel, or everything,
make your argument. Why is it a better reveal?
So they had the
Talk loud.
the costume. They had the costume, and the costume went away, and it's like an alien. Like, ooh, what's going on with the alien? But it's gone. Don't worry about the alien. And then you have another series where it's like, oh, you tripped on a guy's hand.
And you have the subplot of Eddie Brock.
Eddie
Brock,
Brock,
like, this whole
that's
thing.
valid.
That's fair.
So my thing is they retrofitted Doomsday to be like, oh, wait, well, he's a.
Okay, real quick. You know what Doomsday power was? He punched really hard. So I'm not sitting here. And, real quick.
I don't know.
Before we change, real quick, not to cut you off, just so we don't get completely lost in the weeds. One thing I will give them credit for, something that I still think was a clever concept, was once Doomsday was revealed, okay, and now we are officially in the Death of Superman storyline, okay, so technically speaking, that is part 1 of the storyline that would continue in each issue. the thing that I found so fascinating, even as a kid and to this day, was that every subsequent chapter, the panel numbers would start becoming less and less. Okay, so it started out with like an 8-9 panel kind of normal page layout, and then the next thing would be like 6 panels, and then it'd be like 4 panels until, and most people don't remember this, Superman 75, the final issue where he dies, every page is 1 panel. So in a weird way, they slowly build like little into big. So by the time it's the final chapter, it's just 1 page after another page. Because all it is just Superman and Doomsday punching each other.
It's a hell of a fight.
It's brutal. It's actually,
I would not disagree with you on that.
like, that was a clever. I give them a lot of credit for making that
When you
choice.
fold it over, he falls down. Like, that is a
Yeah, it's
great
actually-
full, like,
Yeah, it's actually really cool.
It holds up. It's a good story. I mean, for all its glitz and glamour and the pageantry of it, it's a decent story.
Because
it hit the news.
Well, 'cause
Like,
it-
it's a
well,
big
yeah.
thing.
Well, I
It's
mean,
a
'cause-
big thing.
it was still a novelty at the time.
But
Because then, like, what, a year later, they're like, now Batman's
Yeah.
gonna get his back.
Wolverine
broken.
died 8 times before this.
Fables was a good build up to Geppetto.
Oh yeah, that was actually kind of neat.
Sorry to anybody. Yeah, because everybody comes in here with
Yeah,
that went for like a good.
they went 70 some odd issues before they revealed who the adversary was. Yeah. That was actually pretty impressive. You could even argue, because you were making the point for Venom, they did a decent job with Carnage. Where, so many issues before they introduced Cletus Cassidy, they introduced the weird thing dripping off,
I
and
still
then
think the death of Superman, because of what it brought after, was very interesting. Like, all the different Superman.
Hey, does anyone want any funeral for a friend comics? Because we have plenty.
Mr. Stoops, I'm sorry, we can't really sell these books right now. We have to talk more.
All right. Moving on.
In the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic.
Yes. Okay. So real quick.
And thank you for getting us back on track.
Except for this issue, the Star Wars Legacy 49, it's the only one that is considered a key because it has a first appearance of a Hutt. The rest of them are just really cool Dark Horse Star Wars comics. So real fast. Now these are both high grade copies, and they're both priced $5. So this is Knights of the Old Republic, Volume 1, number 15. And then this is Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, issue number 28, high grade, $5. So at this point, they're just, they're becoming very rare because obviously all this is out of print. And since we're on the topic, let's just run through the rest of the Star Wars comics we have up here, just so no one gets teased. If you're only looking for first appearances within the Star Wars universe, except for this one right here, the only other one we had tonight sold on the local show. But these are all high-grade copies. This is Star Wars Invasion number 2. This is a $4 book. We have Star Wars Crimson Empire 3, issue number 1, Empire Lost, part 1 of 6, The Last Imperial Guard. High grade. Oh, no, this is actually a very fine plus copy at $4, primarily because there's a bit of a crease here of some book laying on it, weirdly. Here we have Dark Horse's first Star Wars ongoing series, even though they were in this weird phase where they put it'd be issue number 14, but it was part 2 of 6 of Emissaries to Malastare. Anyway, this is Star Wars number 14. This is a very fine plus copy at $4. And then we have Star Wars X-Wing Rogue Squadron, The Warrior Princess. This is issue number 1, high-grade copy at $4. It's a trap. And then we have these 4 issues. It's a 5-issue limited series. We are missing issue number 1. It was called Star Wars Jedi: The Dark Side. It's primarily focused on Qui-Gon Jinn. It takes place about 15 or 20 years before The Phantom Menace. And I'm pretty sure all of these are high-grade copies at $4. So there's issue number 1. Issue number 2. Issue number 3. and issue number 5. There we go.
Scoops, you need a completed collection?
So there we go. So those are the only Star Wars books that we have up here. So not to get too crazy or anything like that. We're not hiding, Clone Wars #1 or.
Are you?
I wish. Are you kidding me? If we had a Clone Wars #1, I'd be up here like $400. Dude, it's ridiculous. Yeah, it's out of hand. No, the original Clone Wars #1, which would have been it was definitely Dark Horse, and it would have been mid-2000s because it's the first appearance of Osaka Tana. Yeah, because right after. Prior to that. It's before even that, yeah. Or no, because Osaka. Gendy Tartakovsky.
He did that?
The first one.
I had no idea.
The first one. The one that was actually probably my favorite. Because they were like superheroes.
That is interesting.
When
Tartakovsky,
yeah, at the end of Mandalorian season 2, when sexy ass Rosario Dawson showed up as Osaka, that book, Clone Wars #1, her first appearance, which was about like a $100 book, suddenly became like a $300 to $500 book.
It's funny. I finished Clone Wars and everything. That's a good show.
It's a very good show. Yeah, I haven't watched the final season.
Show is a great show too.
Okay, I've watched some of it. It's pretty good.
Watch
Yes. Deadpool #1. All right, so next up is Deadpool #1. This is, technically speaking, okay, so there are 2. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jason, or even Al, even though I'm pretty sure Al doesn't care about Deadpool. But I'm pretty positive. Now, there are 2 limited series that came out during the early X-Force run where Marvel was realizing this Deadpool character might be something. So they gave Deadpool a miniseries. I'm pretty positive this is the very first, because this is before Full Circle.
Yes,
Circle or whatever.
Yeah,
this is the first one, right? Okay, because the second one was the one that Joe Madureira did.
There's that, and there's one that came after that, which was the first Kill Brew and everything like that.
No. Kill Brew and stuff was the first ongoing series, and that was Joe Kelly. Because right now, the Deadpool is still the cheap Rob Liefeld ripoff of Deathstroke mixed with Spider-Man. It wasn't quite yet the Deadpool that we all know and love, because that would come later in the decade.
I feel like most people will always say Circle Chase is the first.
And I don't think it is. I'm pretty positive this one is.
It's the first of
August 93.
How we know
Circle Chase.
And this is.
And August 90. So this is August 94.
Yeah. Oh, so Circle Chase is.
Circle Chase is first.
Okay. Well, either way, the first two.
That's what I meant. We had it reversed.
Well, the first 2 miniseries carry value. No matter what you want to say, Deadpool is a very famous and very important character nowadays. And this is Deadpool, all new X-Men limited series #1. This is a high grade copy at $20.
That's Ian Churchill.
Yes, Ian Churchill. Yep.
So that's also Mark Waid's first Marvel win.
Yes, that's right. I remember there was another aspect to the whole story.
So that probably carries.
Okay, cool. All right, so there you go. Deadpool #1, but it is a limited series. It is, in fact, if anyone's looking for Deadpool #1, the Joe Kelly, Ed McGuinness ongoing series, we have a really good copy for $60. I think it's a high grade, but not like, I think it's like maybe a very fine plus or a very fine near minus.
I don't think any of them. Yeah, it's like fine plus, but very fine.
But it's up there. It's like because I think high grades of that issue sometimes clock in around $80 to $100.
I know when we got those in, it was all over the map as far as like condition wise. It was just like some were great and some were just.
Well, this one is beautiful, and if anyone wants to see it, let us know. It is right there. I could go, but I'm afraid that CD will mock us for dead air, and I've learned. Whenever I walk off camera and I go, hey, Al and Jason, ham it up for everybody. Al reminds everyone that Mike and Al will be doing a show on the Comic Book Shopping Network tomorrow. Jason will say something that doesn't make any sense that most of you probably didn't even hear. Because no one is as loud as this jackass.
You're like, I've never seen True Romance. That's dumb. You ever seen True Romance?
Anyway, so moving on.
All right, moving on. Okay. All right. So we've done our little opening round here. So,
Oh my God, you guys been over.
Superman and Man of Steel. Yeah, we're not doing. Thank God we sold that Mighty Morphin Power Rangers #1. So because it allows us a little bit more freedom to not sell any books. Anyway, speaking of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers #1,
We'll be doing a show next week. We'll see what Mike says.
we do not have an extra copy of #1, but we have a copy of #3. So for anyone who's not aware, back in 1993, 94, Saban's Mighty Morphin Power Rangers released their first 6-issue limited series. Issue #1 is considered the first appearance of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers in comic book form. Issue #4 of this 6-issue limited series has also some value because it is the first appearance of the White Ranger in comic books. Again, #1 is gone. Thank you, Sam. And the only other issue that we have is issue #3 right here, which is a high-grade copy at $5. All right, so if anyone's feeling a little nostalgia for the Power Rangers, for $5, you can get yourself a nice little dopamine rush. All right.
You're too old for Power Rangers?
It wasn't my thing. Growing up, like,
Speaking of first appearances, ooh, how badly did that shake
no,
the?
you're good.
All right. Okay.
Just got nauseous watching the video.
Yeah, I know. Okay. A first issue just came out this week of this character, Monkey Prince from DC Comics. Here is a really cool variant that celebrates the Chinese New Year. And we know that it's the Year of the Monkey?
I don't know what the year is.
Okay. Well, DC wants you to think it's the Year of the Monkey.
It's the Year of the Monkey for DC.
So for anyone who's curious about the Monkey Prince, we actually have his first appearance. And that is DC Festival of Heroes, the Asian Superhero Celebration, issue #1. This is a high-grade copy at $15. Now, if you're wondering why 15, just to be clear, the cover price of this book is $10. And it is not just the first appearance of the Monkey Prince. It is the first appearance of 3 or 4 other characters that I did not write their names down.
It's the Year of the Tiger.
Oh, okay.
Anybody interested?
All right, thank you. Appreciate it. So if anyone is curious who the Monkey Prince is, what this new series is all about and everything like that, this is his first appearance. In fact, it was obvious that DC already had plans to try to do something with this character because it even says here on the cover, featuring the first appearance of the Monkey Prince. Sometimes you just gotta laugh. You just choke on the absurdity of it all.
DC, good job.
There you go. Speaking of some first appearances, we talked about this a little bit on the local show. There's a first appearance of a character that is garnering some attention. It's an X-Men character, a character that has been recently elevated, or Marvel is talking about elevating this character to a mega level status. Omega level mutants, the Phoenix, Professor X, Magic, maybe, I don't know. And one of them they're going to make is this character, Sync. And if anyone was reading comics, especially Marvel comics, especially X-Men comics in the early to mid 90s, there was an event that occurred which introduced a bunch of new teenage characters who would later become Generation X. One of those characters was this gentleman here, Sync, a mutant who has the mutant power to be able to sync up with other mutants and pretty much copy their mutant power. So people are kind of sniffing around this issue right now. This is X-Men 36, the first appearance of Sync. We have a high-grade copy here at $5. And again, $5 is pretty much the basic conservative overstreet value. Right now, people are just curious. So the value hasn't just spiked overnight. But again, as we joke about on the local show, even if we're not selling comics, we'd like to at least inform people why certain books might show up in their social media feeds. Why are people talking about certain characters? Trust me, the amount of times that I open up something, to educate myself, because we need to try to sell something on every show, and I go, who? What? Why is this important? Why is everyone talking about it? Why are there a bunch of memes suddenly about these characters? Well, Sync is this week's little taste or whatever.
He's theorizing that Bishop is the descendant of Sync, since their powers are so similar.
Yo, Gary, holy shit. Maybe dude, that is why I'm happy you watch. Because you make our show better. If not, Al and I on RP are going, did you ever read that? No, I never read that. Do you know anything about it? No, I don't know anything about it.
Oh, look, there's no black hair. They must be related.
They're all related.
He probably knows him.
No, but
He probably knows.
but again, no. Gary makes an astute point, though, because the joke is, a little bit hits too close to home joke is, it's two black characters. They're the only two black X-Men characters. They're probably related. But, no, what is more interesting, Gary, that's a great point. I didn't think about how their powers sort of have have sort of synced up together. Anyway, I did forget, we do have another Star Wars comic book up here, but I guess I forgot about it because it's not part of the Dark Horse run. So for anyone who doesn't pay attention to Star Wars religiously, Anakin's coming back. I don't know if anyone's waiting for Hayden Christensen and all of his great...
Is Luke gonna play?
Well, no, is he still alive? No, he's still alive. He's got real mental issues. You focus on you, Jake Lloyd. Don't worry about what the Star Wars community thinks, because I'm pretty sure they drove you to almost suicide. And if you want to know what that feels like, just ask Ryan Johnson how he felt after they released The Last Jedi. Thankfully, Ryan Johnson didn't suffer from any underlying mental health issues that got exacerbated by Star Wars fans. Yes?
We're coming up on a commercial. Do you want to do Star Wars before the commercial?
Oh, let's just do the break. Yeah.
Do a break real quick.
Good finger.
Yeah, you make sure that 70 counts.
Maybe not.
Are we not doing
I
it?
guess.
We still. No
Are we
break.
still on?
No break.
Okay.
We'll just do the Star Wars book real quick, everybody.
No. Go. Do.
All right, I'll do the Star Wars. You go do it.
Okay. So Star Wars.
There you go.
Anakin is going to play a role again. So everyone is interested on early books about Anakin Skywalker and his relationship with Obi-Wan Kenobi. And so because of that, there is a series by Marvel, when Marvel was doing the Star Wars comics over the past almost decade at this point. They did Star Wars, Obi-Wan, and Anakin. This is issue number 1. We have a high-grade copy at $10. And just to be clear, this is a book that is inching up past $20. Before you know it, it's a $30 book or a $40 book. I don't know. I don't understand how all this works. I'm kind of dumb. But despite the fact this is the only copy we have here at the shop, again, as I was digging through the Greg hole, desperately searching for anything that we could talk about and maybe would sell, I did discover this, and I discovered that some people are very interested. So, there you go.
Asana meets Anakin.
What's that? No, actually, in all honesty, that book is something that people are looking for, the Obi-Wan and Anakin series. And I guess now it's time for a break?
There's something for every imagination at your local comic shop. Visit ComicShopLocator.com to find a store near you.
They say it, and it's true, that everything is getting faster. You're not getting any younger, and time is the single resource that you can never get back or get any more of. So why walk into your local comic shop blind when you can go in laser focused on the best books on the shelf?
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Minute to Skim It. Yeah!
Spend 1 hour with Miss Jen and Bean, and they'll give you rapid-fire reviews of all the new comics hitting stores. Spend less time shopping and more time reading.
This is Provenance of Secrets.
This is The Heathens. I read Wolverine number 17.
Minute to Skim It, every Tuesday at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, on The Experience, Comic Culture and Sales.
Hey, Joe Pruitt. I'm the publisher and /CEO of Aftershock Comics, and you're watching The Experience.
Philadelphia, get rid of the Indians and keep the Native American names.
What's up? I don't know.
Because Pashunk, Manayunk,
Yeah,
Foxborough,
yeah.
they're all Native American
Yeah,
names, but how many Native Americans do you know? Name 3. Move on.
That I know personally? I went to high school. You know what my high school,
What are you being mad at me for?
You know
Like,
what
what did I do?
you know what my high school was called? Cherokee.
Well,
Is it still?
in Pennsylvania. Think about it.
No, it was Cherokee is one of the biggest high schools in all of New Jersey. And it's 6,000.
6,000?
No. That's where we started. We started freshman years.
Are you serious?
My graduating class was, I think, almost 16 or 1,800.
Yeah.
Which is why it was a huge deal that I was in the top 50, which doesn't mean anything because I manage a comic book shop.
Look how far I went, Ma.
Oh, no. Don't even get me started on my SAT scores or my grade point average or how many cum laudes I had or how many honor societies I was in. It doesn't matter because at 42, I manage a comic book shop.
Oh, God.
No. It's called Life Isn't About these goalposts that everyone tells you you're supposed to experience. Trust me, I can die tomorrow. I don't want to because, there's still a lot of loved ones I still want to interact with. But I'm not going to die thinking that I live a full life. That's all I'm saying, all right?
You mean I don't have to have kids?
No, I don't have to have kids.
No.
No.
You don't? Okay.
No, you don't have to have kids. Stop it. If you had kids, then we would never be able to hang out. You wouldn't be here being part of the tripod. If Al had kids, he would definitely not be here.
Trying not to be here now. All right, kids.
Looking for the door.
I couldn't imagine. I could not
Having
imagine.
kids?
My hat is off to anybody with children. I really just the amount of anxiety. The amount of anxiety I feel
Now,
just
right
now, just in general. I can only imagine if you have mouths to feed.
Like I have difficulty sleeping now. Like I have so many sleeping issues. If I had children that existed in this world, I would never sleep. I would only be concerned about where they are. Are they healthy? Are they safe? Why did I bring them into this shitty world that we live in?
My cat sneezed. I thought I was going to die.
Oh my God.
What happened? What's the noise?
God. Every time my dog raises her paw because some salt got in between her paws, I'm like, oh my God, she has cancer. Anyway, now let's talk about some 90s comics. All right, so we didn't get to this
Weird.
last week's show. There's never a good segue, okay? Are you kidding me?
When we were kids, we had 90s books.
if this wasn't a job and Al and I weren't being actually paid and we were just hanging out talking with the hope that people would watch.
Mike, you don't have to pay us based on this shit.
Dude, Mike, I constantly tell him not to.
Yeah, I mean, you could just, we'll sign out early tonight.
Yeah.
Hi, Mike.
But I'm just saying, the amount of digressions and conversations that we would have where people would be angrily attacking us, it's not even funny. Like, this is me on my best behavior. Think about that, okay? You watched this show. You've been here. And this is best behavior, Brendan.
I know you on your questionable behavior.
I've known you on your worst behavior.
No,
I've seen Greg Hall of his behavior.
Okay, so with that said, let's step back into the 90s. All right. Sometimes I wonder, why does even the experience allow us to do this?
I think it's, you know what? No,
No, I'm curious.
it was. No, because it's a whole story. It's too long.
Okay.
We've already digressed.
Okay, all right. Well, you put a
If I feel
bookmark. You feel like coming around.
Oh,
Like when we really go dry and there's like one person watching and it's Jason, then we can get back to that.
we went to a gathering at some point years ago, you know, and it was a time when I don't drink now, and you were taking a break for whatever reason.
Health.
And so we're at this party, and neither one of us are drinking, and we're just talking to each other because we don't interact with anybody else.
No, we're antisocial, yeah.
And at some point, it's just like we looked at each other. They need to all fucking thank us for not drinking because we would have ruined their party by now. And there was like somebody there that you were not friends with at the time, and you were like, he needs to thank me for not drinking.
All we said was, these people are very lucky.
And they were, because the night would have taken a turn.
Yeah.
And it would have been bad.
Because there were some parties or some bar nights where we weren't abstaining,
Oh yeah.
and everybody there regretted it. Just saying.
As long as you can walk away, it's like,
Just
my
Oh,
problem.
no. Al and I always walked away. That was never the problem.
We always walked away.
We always walked away.
No.
It was how much trouble did we cause as we walked out the door.
We walked away slowly as everything exploded. behind us.
Yeah. We were the end of Bad Boys 1 in slow motion. And we don't say that with pride as much as we laugh, which is why Al doesn't drink anymore. And Angela, my girlfriend, asked me many times, maybe you could calm down. Maybe you can step back to those periods where you take a break every now and again. With that said, does anyone know who Night Watch is?
Remember the 90s?
Remember the 90s? Because I do, which is why I still drink.
I don't
All right. So with that said, let's try to sell a book. All right. I know my buddy Mr. Oz is probably not watching right now, but this is a character. All right. So anyone who's watched the show, Mr. Oz shows up in the chat, or you see the kind of books, or let's say the kind of first appearances that he purchases, it's because I look for first appearances of like Z-list characters just because it reminds me of my friend Omar. Because he would I'd be working here at Fat Jack's, just hanging out, and he goes, "Do you have the first appearance of so-and-so?" And I go, "Who?" And he's like, "Here's the cover. And I go, "Maybe I find it." And whenever I found it, it's like $1, $2, $3, some obscure Avengers issue, some obscure Captain America. How excited he got at the first appearance of Armadillo. Do you know who Armadillo is? Well, a few years ago, he contacts me. He's like, do you have the first appearance of Night Watch? And I go, who the f***'s Night Watch? And he goes, he's the next big character. And I go, you're a fool. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. Oh, wait, guess what? I did find the first appearance of not only Night Watch, but I found the first appearance of him before he was Night Watch in costume. And I think he bought them for like $2 or $3, because that's all they were worth at the time. Well, I'm the idiot, because a couple of years later, Sony, which has the rights to all of the Spider-Man characters, which is why Sony and Disney got in bed to do the Spider-Man movies. It's why Sony put out Venom. It's why Sony put out Morbius, or is going to put out Morbius.
Or Spider-Man.
It's why Sony at one point was going to do an Aunt May movie. No. At one point they were going to do a Secret Six movie, or no, Sinister Six movie. Every now and again they threaten to do a Jackpot movie. Do you not know who Jackpot is? Well, then you don't watch the show, because I've desperately tried to sell her first appearance many times. I've even desperately tried to sell her arch nemesis first appearance, Menace, and no one seems to care. So I learned that Sony is trying to make a Nightwatch movie, or a Nightwatch show.
Like actively right now?
Still to this day. Look, Jason confirms it, and
That's all he does.
that's all he does is confirm the things that Al and I wishes that he wouldn't confirm. But whenever he confirms it, it's confirming that when I see what the first appearance of Nightwatch actually goes for, okay? Which I sold to my friend for, I think, maybe $2.50. And I called it a real win. Because I was pretty sure that Web of Spider-Man issue was never going to sell. And, Buddy bought it. So I was like, cool. That's a win, right? It now goes for like $20. Like, I'm not going to, we're not, like, all joking aside, like, the fact that we're going to talk about it right now.
But see, that's better, because that's the thrill of the hunt, and he got a book he was digging for and what he wanted. And, he's not going to resell it because of the first one. He wanted it because that's what he wanted, and he got it for a good price, because that's what we do here.
Oh, absolutely. And you'll be shocked to know, even at $8, this is still a cheap value for the first appearance of Nightwatch. And don't worry, if you don't know who Nightwatch is, I'm going to show you that in a second. But first, Web of Spider-Man, issue number 99, a very fine plus copy, $8. First appearance of Nightwatch. All right? Now you ask yourself, who the hell is Nightwatch? And I'll tell you this. It is if you had a jumble crossword of every 90s trope, character name, adjective, adverb, noun, and you threw it all into a big bobble ball, and you just pulled out two, like, here's one word, here's a second word, put them together, you got a character's name, and you go, who's popular right now? Take that element of their costume, take that element of their costume, and take that element, and now you have a new character. And once I show you the image of who Nightwatch is, because first of all, already the name, Nightwatch. All right. What image character does this remind you of? Because we have, and just so we're clear, it's got a gimmick cover because it's the 90s. It actually has a little bit of value, which blows my mind.
Life creation.
When I found it while digging through the Greg hole,
Good one, Jerry.
I couldn't believe it. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you.
It's not Spawn.
Yeah. Hopefully, the one time I hope no one heard you. Here is Nightwatch, the first issue of his first and only solo series, which might one day be $100 book. I don't know. Here we go, guys.
Lawsuit Central.
Nightwatch. There you go, folks.
Lawsuit Central.
There's our boy. The first of his first ongoing series. One of many, Marvel thought.
Wait, is there Nightwatch 2?
Okay, just so we're... All right. Just... None of our opinions represent the experience or Fat Jack's. We're going to
talk.
No, we're going to step into... No, because we have openly talked about
Go
this.
ahead, find me. I'll sue you.
No, we've openly talked about this trope before, okay? It is a trope in comics, and it coincides with how much of a ripoff this character is to Spawn, which Spawn is already a weird... If you were to guess, under that mask, What skin color do you think Nightwatch has?
Is Nightwatch related to Bishop and Sink?
If Nightwatch was a mutant, I would say, Al, right on the nose, my friend. No, thankfully, though, he's at least a doctor. Like, they at least, he's not like a reformed con or a reformed drug dealer or whatever other garbage, like, trope that
Does he live in Harlem, too? I feel like all black characters live in Harlem.
They do, like, maybe. Man, I don't know for certain, but I think you're onto something.
Maybe Nighthawk lawsuit. Like, there's so many lawsuits involved in this. We can't.
No, okay, that's a great point.
Nighthawk's another one.
But everyone forgets the original Nighthawk was a white dude. That got retconned later. That Nighthawk became a black man. But anyway, I'm just like, again, it shouldn't matter, but we don't live in that world quite yet. But for anyone who doesn't know, Spawn was also a supposed black man. Even though technically he was in the animated body of a blonde white dude. Like, that was the whole joke of Spawn. Like, even though Al Simmons was a black man who was murdered, when his soul was reanimated in the corpse that would be the body of Spawn, when he used his power to revert back and he thought it was his body, the big joke reveal was that it was like this. It was just like this blonde surfer dude. Now Simmons was like, "What the hell?" Like,
What the hell is that movie?
Spawn?
No.
Soul Man?
No. It's with
White chicks?
With Warren Beatty. And he's like, or nah, it's like there's a remake too with Chris Rock.
Real quick, this is a high grade copy of $4.
I like white chicks. White
Stop it, Jason. Jason, I don't know if we're gonna be friends. Don't say, even ironically, you like white chicks.
So Jason's never seen Unforgiven or True Romance,
But it's now.
and he dislikes Monster Squad and loves white chicks.
I hated Monster Squad. Hated it. Not dislike. Hate it.
All I'm saying.
He even said his favorite movie is House Bunny.
I'll fight to the death. I'll die in the
House
hill.
Bunny or the Josh Brolin old boy.
Ooh, stop.
Oh yeah.
Stop.
Jason's
Maybe be a jerk.
Oh man.
Maybe a jerk.
All right. I don't know who bought it. Don't even.
We're not gonna tell him, but
Because it's hopefully not Mr. Kiernan.
thank you to the party involved.
But I'm going to be very honest. That's no joke. I thought it was a joke, and I've only been proven wrong. Like, I openly mocked my friend. I openly mocked him. And then the book kept going up in value. And I felt like such an ass. I was like, I openly mocked him.
Listen, there's some horrible things out there.
But hey, man, we are deep in 90s nostalgia love.
There's some horrible
And there ain't nothing
things
more
out there.
90s than Night Watch.
Does Ron Lim do the interiors also?
No, it doesn't. But if you love Ron Lim and you love the 90s, we have a bundle of Ron Lim's very first creator-owned work. We actually talked about this last week while talking about George Perez's Sax and Violins, Epic Comics. This was the series, actually 2 series, a 4-issue limited series, and then a 2-issue limited series.
That's very limited. That's as limited as you can get.
And my favorite part of the at the end of this issue, maybe more will be coming.
If you pay $20,
I'm just going to tell
cash a card.
Spoiler, no more than 6 issues of this book ever got published.
More to come.
But it's okay if you want to see Ron Lim do his own version of the Monkey Prince. And again, it's another segue. We were talking about the first appearance of Monkey Prince. Look, Dragonlines is like Blade Runner meets the Monkey Prince. Done by Ron Lim at the height of his powers. And when I say the height of his powers, I mean infinity powers. And you can get this entire, you can get a 4-issue limited series, 2-issue limited series for only $6. It almost sounds like it's $1 a book.
Is it a buck a book?
It's $1 a book. It's like 90s prices. Well, 1990 and 91 prices.
Mr. Stoops, It's all come full circle.
It all comes full circle.
Ron Lim had some good.
Hey man, no, dude.
Like,
All right.
I was gonna ask, what do people think of Ron Lim as far as like an art?
I didn't age with Ron Lim, but like late '80s, early '90s, Ron Lim, Silver Surfer, Infinity Gauntlet. I loved Ron Lim. I did. Like I bought Dragon Lines because of Ron Lim. Yeah, dude. Yeah, I loved Ron Lim as a kid. I genuinely did.
He's one that honestly, like I prefer now. Like I go back and I see, and like it's not my taste, but like as a kid I wasn't really into it.
Yeah.
But like I go back, I'm like that's not bad. Like he's not a bad artist at all. It's just not my taste. But
it's no Rob Liefeld, but you know
he does a lot of the '90s tribute covers with the characters. So I see his work a lot more.
Yeah.
Like I just see variations of it. Hey, he's decent.
I wonder who was anyone in the chat watching. Who was inking Ron Lim when he was drawing Silver Surfer and Infinity Gauntlet? I'm curious about that. If that kind of because there's a looseness to his work now that I don't like, and I don't know if that's an age thing. If maybe like
he was doing covers for Captain America for a while.
Oh, I loved it.
And I really like those covers. I really liked.
But that's that era I'm talking about. Yeah. That's like '89, and he wasn't just doing the covers. He was doing some of the interiors. In fact, I got pissed when he was still doing the covers, but the interiors was like Dave Hoover or somebody, or somebody where I'm like, wait a minute, this isn't Ron Lim. No, like honest to God, middle school Brendan loved Ron Lim. Loved Ron Lim. It's not. I have an appreciation because of my love. The dude seems like a great guy. I've only heard from people in the industry. Ron Lim's. I imagine he makes deadlines. It kind of sucks that certain writers or artists in this industry, they fall out of favor in regards to certain kind of like moods or styles. Like and until they die, that's the only time it's suddenly like. Because think about it. Like in the '90s when we were like teenagers, Kirby, you couldn't have picked a more out of style. A less cool artist than Jack Kirby.
With his hands.
Because Jack Kirby didn't look like Todd McFarlane or Rob Liefeld or Jim Lee. A bunch of glorified pinup artists that didn't know a page layout if their life depended on it. And yet, because puberty is the worst drug trip of all time, convinced us, oh, look at the boobies! Look at the booties! Oh my God, they're the greatest artists ever! Ah! By the way, real quick though, this next cover by Todd McFarlane is actually really cool.
Wait a second,
because I still wanted to segue because we had so much fun with Night Watch and Spawn and all that kind of stuff. I do have two Todd McFarlane Spider-Man books up here.
His Spider-Man, like I like his covers in the '90s. It's all the same, but
there's some, like, Tom McFarlane had a problem. Stephen Platt had the same problem, and that is the thing that their deficiencies or weaknesses as artists, they never chose to get better. What they did was they're like, okay, I'm really bad at proportions. Like, so if I'm drawing an arm and it looks weird, should I redraw the arm? Should I take a life drawing like study or a life study class? Should I like get my brother or friend or girlfriend to pose for me just so I can make sure the arm looks right? No. What I'll do is I'll add more chains, webs, capes, or I'll just crosshatch the hell. I mean, I will put crosshatch and lines in areas that, I'm sorry, buddy, that's not a muscle. That just looks like bad eczema. Anyway. Oh, Dale Keown. Okay. Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, there's a Dale Keown issue up here right now. But real quick, all joking aside, this is an awesome cover. Spider-Man number 7 from 1990. What is this? 1990. Like 90.
70 years old.
Did you say 70?
I was 7 years old.
Oh, you were 7 years old. I was like
32 years ago. 32
32
years ago. You all remember when this book was on the stands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're all getting older.
I was 11. You were 7. You were like what? Like 10, 9?
Is that comics and cards?
I was 4 in this game.
1990.
I
Okay.
was 4 in 1990.
Yeah, there you go. But all kidding aside,
Liar.
that's an awesome cover. And like as the joke, as I'm starting to really realize, it also leans into Todd McFarlane's strengths, which is only draw characters with masked face or skull faces or demon faces. Because if you're Todd McFarlane, you have to draw a real human being. It does not look like a real human
His first Coyote, his first 2 covers are not bad.
They're not, but he's.
But he went. You know what?
This way, his work on Spider-Man is for sure the covers.
Oh no, that's
like
the thing.
the covers are the like you start flipping through, and I'm not trying to shit on Todd McFarlane. but,
Listen,
like,
he knows where his money is.
Yeah, like you can see it in like you said, you see it in the layouts, you see it in how the book's set up. Like it's not, it's good art, but it's just not. It doesn't.
High grade, $6. No, if anything else, all you need to know about Todd McFarlane is go back and look at those old Amazing Spider-Man issues and look at the way he drew Mary Jane
I was
Watson.
gonna say, look at Mary Jane's face. Everybody looks like.
And that hair, man.
Listen, they all have the, like Howard Chaykin, a lot of his faces. I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Opinions are different for everybody.
And again, we're not.
He has spent his time on other things.
We're expressing our opinions. Our opinions, obviously, people can disagree,
Come
but
at me.
this is our platform, so we're going to use our platform to spout off like a bunch of jackasses. And speaking of which, never forget Juicy Spider-Man butt. Look at that booty, just sticking up a big peach bottom.
Did the web coming out there too?
I'll tell you one thing. No one is trying to cancel Todd McFarlane for his objectifying of Peter Parker, but when Manera, the Italian artist, did almost this exact pose with Spider-Woman, people were very upset.
Lost their minds.
Spider-Woman's not a prepubescent boy.
Yeah, I guess not, because God, he really does. Like,
He's putting it out there for you.
like he's just like pop. He's just like. Do you think?
Good for
He's
him.
like the
Good for
meat
him.
bro.
I gotta be honest.
Good for him.
I'm pretty sure Peter Parker, Spider-Man Peter Parker, would be the greatest twerker of all time. In regards to the spider ability and stuff like that, he would. Like, nobody could twerk. Like, that's my headcanon. I'm saying it right now. The greatest twerker of all of existence.
Only the Marvel Universe?
No, in DC Universe, in real life. Hey, anybody who would be better? It could be a real
Peter
person.
Parker at him.
It could be a fictional character. Who's the better twerker than Spider-Man Peter Parker?
Think about it. We're taking a break.
High grade, $6 and take a break.
Put it at your mouth.
Take a break. Maybe not.
Imagine being at a convention and going to an interview panel that's just for you. No bustling crowds, no hours-long lines, just you, the moderator, and your favorite comic book creators. Well, this is pretty much that. Miss Jen sits down every week with 2 comic book creators for a live stream interview about their latest work, and you can ask them whatever you want. It's Talking Shop, Mondays at 5 Eastern on The Experience, Comic Culture and Sales.
There's something for every imagination at your local comic shop. Visit ComicShopLocator.com to find a store near you.
Hey, I'm Garrett Gunn. You might know me from Good Boy, Warhorns, Franklin and Gus, and you're watching The Experience.
Oh, it's us again. Sorry, we're really bad at the knowing when we go live. So this is our last segment.
Zane is coming at you with Bane.
Is Zane still in the chat? Zane's still watching? Zane, as long as you're watching, no, anyone who's watching, but
Zane is live in the chat.
we're going to keep this energy up.
I feel like the chat's like quicksand. You try and get out, but you can't. You're stuck there.
Oh, by the way, I learned.
So we all.
Real quick, everyone, this is a life hack. If you ever find yourself sinking in quicksand, you know how not to die? Lay onto your back. If you lay on your back, you will not sink. Yeah.
You struggle. You're supposed to struggle and try
Oh,
to swim
yeah. No, what you should do is jump. You should do a lot of jumping. But so Zane came in with Bane? What was the context?
He said Bane's the champion torque. That's all I said.
Oh, Bane is the Torker?
He says DC. Now are you saying Bane is better than Spider-Man?
Come on. Think it through, Zanin. Think it through. Bane is all pumped up on Venom. Have you ever seen a dude on steroids? This is what he looks like. Hey, everybody. I'm Bane. I can't put my arms down because my muscles are so big.
I mean, I would argue Flash only for speed.
Oh, he's got.
Oh, well.
Flash, Flash would get in there.
Oh, my God. So actually, you're right. He would have super speed twerks.
It would be. We'll see him on YouTube for sure. Some of those twerk videos.
I still
that I hear about.
I still think in terms of style, Spider-Man, because he can make them bounce, man.
That's true.
Like I think because
to do it.
Well, Spider-Man would. Because Spider-Man's got a gymnast, swimmer.
Flash.
Did you not see this booty?
No, Flash is a runner.
Look at that boot hair. That is look at the way the light.
He's wearing some of those padded briefs.
I mean, look how far back he can put his leg. Here we go. Todd McFarlane, take some life drawing classes, buddy, because you don't understand human anatomy.
There you go, Zane. Okay, so Zane's coming with the torso balance for the upper and lower torso. Bane is.
So is he like this?
Because he's like a bodybuilder, I guess.
He's a lot. I'm Bane. I'm Bane. I can go backwards and forwards.
Spider-Man twerking to the Spider-Man cartoon theme.
Ooh.
Thank you, Mr. I don't know.
Real quick, best cover of a TV theme show, the Ramones doing the Spider-Man TV theme. Yeah, it was part of one of the greatest compilation records that I ever owned in my entire life. It was the Saturday Morning Classics. Came out back in 1995, 94. Violent Femmes do the Jetsons. Ramones do Spider-Man. Sublime does Hong Kong Phooey. Helmet does Gigantor.
NWA does the Hey Dude theme. Is that right?
Yeah. Ghostface Killer does Speed Racer.
No problem, Mr. Wiggler. No problem at all.
What do we got? Oh, okay.
Saying goodbye to America.
All right. Cool beans.
Bye, America.
If you're curious about condition and price, just let us know, okay? Because
well, I mean, he claimed. I'm assuming you saw earlier when he went through them. But
okay, just
let us know.
Yeah, let us know if there's any confusion or anything like that. But until that happens, I want to talk about a book that I completely forgot to pull out last week. Or Jason, I'm going to blame Jason. Anytime I plan to talk about a book and I end up not doing it, it's because Jason won't stop twerking. Yes, that's why we were talking about twerking earlier. Because he, right now, is off camera. He's all like, hey, everybody. I mean, it is
rocking everywhere.
Extremely awkward. But we love him. Love you, Jason. At this point, you are part of the family. You are we can't be a tripod without you. But it is getting kind of uncomfortable. So because of that distraction, I never got the opportunity to show off and talk about the saga of Crystar the Crystal Warrior. All right, so okay, this is a generational thing. I have very strong memories of this toy line. This is a toy line, okay? Marvel Comics, because they were doing every action figure toy line comic book. This is from 1983. Does anyone here remember, and this also goes out to the chat, do you guys remember the Crystal Warrior toy line?
Didn't you have the banners that had the 3D?
No, that's the Visionaries.
Okay.
Oh, this is fun. I mean, I know about like
Visionaries had like the hologram faces and the shield and stuff, right?
no. The shields and the thing that was the Visionaries.
That's Visionaries. Okay.
There was
That's what I was thinking.
There was a toy line that had faces that
Came off.
yeah, but that was not that was no, definitely not. But the Crystar, again, this is early, like pretty much they're trying to ape off of the burgeoning He-Man line, which hasn't become the biggest toy line yet. And then they had like crystal figures. One of the big ways that most people remember this is one of the villains was this orange like rock creature thing. If anything else, you're all probably watching us online right now. So please stop watching us, because what's the point of us? No, it sounds terrible. All joking aside, if you don't remember what this toy line is, but you are a child of the 80s, I imagine if you actually saw the figures, you probably knew somebody or had one of them. Yeah, Jason over here, he's finally going to stop twerking, and he's going to look up, because Jason, just so we're clear, you don't need to always use your hands to shake your butt. Like the whole point of twerking is you don't need to do anything except shake your butt.
Never had these.
Really?
They look familiar. I don't. Yeah,
Well, you never had them?
No.
All right, I was a very spoiled child of the 80s, it seems. Yes, that's exactly. Yeah, here.
I think honestly, I remember them more from like the ads and
Let's
comics.
show it off. That is the figure of Crystar himself. Yeah, and then the villains and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, but anyway, just so we're clear, this is a very fine copy at $4. This is not a $40 book. So if you're looking for a little 80s nostalgia because you're so bored of all this 90s that we got going on over here, well, don't worry, because I'll be honest, when I was digging through the Greg hole and I came upon that, I got very excited. Now, part of that was because I was convinced it was going to end up being a $30 to $50 book like Thundercats 1 and Silverhawks 1. That was not the case, but I still enjoyed the fact that it reminded me of when I used to play with them. So it was good times. Good times.
Brought you back.
Yeah, it brought me back for a moment. It was fun. All right, so we do have some bundles we haven't gotten to at all. Yeah, like a lot. To the point where I feel like we're wasting our time. If anyone sees anything up here that you're interested in, please let us know. We'll talk about it. Until then, let's talk about a few more spotlight books that we haven't gotten to yet. All right, so first up is a book that we have had on the show before, but I was lucky enough to discover. Okay, whenever I say this is the only copy we have, and then a few weeks or a few months later I have another copy, trust me. When I said this was our last copy, I meant that literally. It's just at the time. Because, again, the Greg hole is very deep. And every now and again, we get some collections. And they might not be, like, blow your mind out with, like, FF1s and Werewolf by Night 32s or stuff. But, hey, every now and again, you find yourself another copy of 2099 Unlimited #1 first appearance of the Hulk 2099. A book that at one point we had a bundle for. And it caused a bidding war. It was a problem. People were mad that we couldn't recreate it. And now I look back and go, I effed up.
Because you know what? Whoever missed out on it, the party involved, stuck us with like $1,200 worth of books. So we say goodbye to that customer.
Oh, that's
right. You missed your bundle.
That did happen.
It did happen.
Well, anyway, this is a high-grade copy, well, a very fine plus copy at $5. If it was higher grade, it would be $6. But it's not. It's only $5. But still, it's the first appearance of Hulk 2099, and Spider-Man 2099 shows up. That's cool.
Because even in 2099, Spider-Man's got to show up.
He's got to show up. I'm surprised Wolverine 2099, Punisher 2099, Ghost Rider. Wait a minute. I think they all had 2099 versions.
Taskmaster.
No, you're wrong. They did at the end of Spider-Man 2099 series. They did introduce Venom 2099. That did happen.
Eric made a good point the other day.
Okay.
That Marvel should do like a Venom Aliens kind of tie-in. Like that's a property that they have the potential to do, and why haven't they done it? And I like, yeah, that's a good point.
That's actually
because it would be kind of cool to see like those two properties together.
Especially now that Disney owns 20th Century Fox, which owns Aliens. So at this point, Venom versus Aliens versus Predator.
Don't quite own Spider-Man.
No. They own Spider-Man. They don't own the film rights to Spider-Man. Okay, it's a huge difference. All right, so we're clear.
Battles.
Because some company back in the late 90s was trying to get out of bankruptcy and was trying to become solvent again and decided to sell off everything.
I had stock in Marvel.
But no one wanted the Avengers or Iron Man or Captain America or Thor.
They kept it.
Yeah, they kept it. I wonder, but they kept it because no one wanted it.
It's such a bad idea that they kept that.
And then they decided to make movies
Because they bought and like had the right people on board. It's weird.
It's okay. DC is going to sell off Batman and Superman to Marvel before you know it. No. They shouldn't. No, one corporation shouldn't own every character, okay?
No. That's true. But Warner Brothers is...
This guy over here.
Warner Brothers not...
The tripod is starting...
Listen, the animated is phenomenal. I love the Harley Quinn TV show.
All right.
It's amazing.
It's okay because a mother came in with her 8-year-old daughter and was like, I want some Harley Quinn comics. And Henry turns to me. Henry, you watching? This is a story that really, really sells the Henry experience.
Let's tread lightly. Discussing employees and customers in the shop. Just to remind everybody.
No. This is not negative. This is absolutely a friendly story. And she comes in and she's like, I'm looking for Harley Quinn comics for my young daughter. And I go, whoa, all right, man, it's not that many. And Henry goes, what about the animated Harley Quinn? And I went, the one where they practically, like Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy, like hump each other? You mean the animated comic that's based off of the very adult animated cartoon? And Henry goes, I don't know.
DC Black, get it.
That's all. So that's all I'm saying. So if anyone is looking for all age or age appropriate Harley Quinn comics, the Eat, Bang, Kill Tour comic series is not appropriate for 8-year-old girls. Just saying. Okay?
That's it. To be fair, she's not Henry's daughter.
Valid.
And what that young lady reads is not Henry's priority. Selling books to her mother is.
Okay.
Just saying.
Al, thank you for being the adult in the room.
And also, I would never get in the way of a parent when they're trying to buy something for a child. And the one time I did, that woman, if she could have smacked me in the mouth, she absolutely would have for getting involved in her business.
Which book was it? I don't remember.
It was a woman comes in with she comes in with a little boy, 6, maybe 6.
Okay.
She said, pick something out, we gotta go. The kid grabs Dynamite's Jennifer Blood.
Oh.
The housewife who murders people in extremely gratuitous, like
brutal. Yeah.
When it started, when Garth Ennis started.
How did he know to pick that up?
He picked whatever
He didn't care.
It was a woman with
a gun. He was into it, right? Yeah. Makes sense.
She grabs it. And I said, listen, this is not my place. I understand you're buying a book. Just so you know, you might want to flip through that. It's intended for mature readers. So you flip through it. How much of this do I have to read? I said, you don't have to read any of it, man. You're more than welcome to purchase it. She grabbed the book, walked out with the child. Never saw him again. The book, like the most adult book we could have had.
It was like an adult book or cross. It was like the time I was in a GameStop one time, and a a parent walks up with their obviously like 6 or 7 year old child. I mean, that child was not even remotely close to puberty. I mean, like that child just came into consciousness like maybe a year before, and that kid handed Grand Theft Auto 4 to the GameStop employee.
Good choice.
And the GameStop employee goes, "Is this for him?" And the parent's like, "Yeah, why?" And the GameStop employee, I give this dude all the credit in the world. He's like, "Listen," and he did the same thing. He's like, "It's not my place. You know, I'm just as a retailer, I just want to inform you, like, of the nature of what this game." And the parent goes, "Shut up! I don't care. It's a video game. Just like." And the guy, like, you could tell the guy was like, he's like, "Okay, but I just want to reiterate, you're buying this, like, there's no problem, like, you're fine buying this for your child." And the parent's like, "Stop asking me questions." It got tense, man. I swear that parent was gonna reach over the counter and beat this dude.
Like, why are you holding me up? I'm trying to give you
Yeah,
money.
like, my kid wants a stupid video game. I want to buy it for him so he stops bothering
I
me.
have to go home.
But and I feel bad, man, because like then that child walked out, and I walked up to the employee, and I was like, "I feel you, man." He's like, "I don't know, man. Like the amount of times parents," and he even said it. He's like, "That's not the first conversation I've had, and I bet you in a week I get a phone call."
Listen, snowflakes, you're so bold, right?
You know who uses that term?
Snowball.
Because we haven't said it yet on this show, and yet it's a favorite, and I won't say it. There's a certain subset of people who probably gathered on a very famous date recently who really like to use that word, snowflake, and I'm pretty sure it's a form of projection. All right, just saying. All right, so
those Tom Brady fans.
yeah. They're really into the Cowboys and the Patriots.
How's that mouse book going?
Oh, hey, anyone who's interested, Mouse, they're putting out a new version of it, a new printing. It's coming out this week. Regrettably, we only ordered one copy, but it's coming out this week. So if you're looking for a new printing of Mouse, it's back into the ether. And if you don't know why it's back into the ether, go back and rewatch last week's episode where we got quite upset.
The news came out.
The new issue, though, the new printing has like, a lot of it blacked out. Like a lot of pages are blank or it's blacked out.
Are you kidding?
I want that even
Oh,
more.
okay, dude, you were about to really upset.
If it was, I want that more.
Well, just so we're clear, and this is the way that media really does influence so much. Guess how many people came in looking for that book this week?
Oh, no, they're good.
Easily 6 or 7 people.
I sent you 3 stories of guys selling.
No, I know. Well, if anything else, I appreciate all the comic book shops that without selling it sent the book to like. Yes. Question.
No, Mr. Hollow just joined us.
Oh, hey, what's up, man?
He's got some interest in the Jason Todd and the Doomsday.
Oh, okay, all right. Let's
If you hold that for 20 minutes, it's okay.
Mike thanks you for bringing us back from the brink.
Congratulations to Mr. Hollow. He got his Power Rangers.
Yes, no. Sam's a great guy. And the one thing he has said, his only real true critique of this show is Parker Posey, my dog, should be on it more. And don't worry, there is an episode, I think it's the last Sunday of February, Parker's back. Parker's going to be back. My puppy's back. The one who is our namesake, or in terms of the beginning of the show, that wagging tail as some lunatic in a dark void.
I'm going to have to dress up. That means your mom's going to watch.
Yes. The only episodes my mother watches is when her grand dog. Anyway, Sam, here we go, bud. So this is Batman 428, the book 3, part 3 of 4 of the Death in the Family storyline, a very infamous and famous issue. This is the fans voted, and Jason Todd will forevermore have the biggest crowbar chip on his shoulder, even when he gets reincarnated. But this is the issue where Jason Todd is officially dead. This is a hey. I'm trying to sell a book here, okay?
Even by today's
He's
standards,
dead.
That's a very gruesome cover.
No, it's brutal, man. And Mike Mignola, love you, buddy. This is a Fine Plus copy at $15. And then another, now that's 80s. That's late 80s, now early 90s. An iconic key issue that doesn't come in a poly bag, doesn't come with its own armband, doesn't come with a poster of a tombstone or a fake Daily Bugle, no, not Daily Bugle, Daily Planet front page or whatever, but it is the first appearance of Doomsday, the character who punches really hard. So here we go. Superman, the Man of Steel. This is a first print, just so we're clear. And for anyone who doesn't know, we were talking about this before the show even began. One of the neat things, and I wish more companies did this, when they put out a second print of this issue, it's still the same cover, but they put a Roman numeral 2 underneath the issue number. When they put out a third printing, they put a Roman numeral 3 right there underneath the number. So if you are even going and looking through our back issues, we have a second print of this issue. It's about half the price because this is a high-grade copy at $30, first appearance of Doomsday. But I still wanted to point out that whole like first, second, third printing kind of thing.
They also changed the color to the title, which is great because I'm colorblind. So I went by.
Are you colorblind?
Yeah.
It's funny that DC was so innovative in the early '90s, and that now they change the color on the cover, and that's how you know it's a second print. Like they don't. It's like the word you got to fucking search through the issue.
Joker red cuff. I want that.
What is it?
The red cuff Joker.
Or how about we're like
Killing Joke where he's got the red cuff?
Yeah. Oh god, man, the amount of prints on the Killing Joke.
It's like 9. But the red cuff print, it's 1.
And guess what? They're all out of print.
They're all, oh my god,
You'd never find.
Yo, but that first print's got some real. I have a first print because I bought it when it came out. Much too young. Thank you, Fred. I had Fat Jack's Comicrypt in 1989. Thank you for selling the Killing Joke first print to a 9-year-old Brendan because I definitely deserved it. That's for sure. Cool, Sam. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Yeah. So there we go. I mean, I guess we're kind of running to the end. So let's just be real quick for anyone who's still hanging out with us, which we really appreciate. You do validate our existence.
I mean, how old was Robin supposed to be?
Oh, 15? 14?
Like, he beat a 15-year-old with a crowbar.
Yeah,
Like,
brutally.
Imagine what that's.
And then
Joker.
got away with it because he was the ambassador to Iran.
Right.
That happened.
That's the next issue.
Yes.
And Joker's an ass.
So he had diplomatic immunity. He brutally murdered a minor. And he not only had diplomatic immunity, but to Iran. And by the way, real quick, does anyone remember who wrote that story, Death in the Family? It is a writer who is known for pretty much creating a corner of the Marvel Universe. I don't want to tell you what the corner is because we'll give it away. But when you think of the corner that this writer created for Marvel, it is not even close to the street level of violence that he wrote in Death in the Family. Do you know who wrote Death in the Family? What writer? I'll give you a hint. In the 90s, Ron Lim drew a lot of his books.
Shit, I don't.
I'll give you another.
All I want to say is Jim Aparo. That's
Well, he did the art.
Did the art. I can picture his name on.
I'll give you another hint. This writer was part of what I like to refer to as the Marvel Bronze Age Brat Pack, which consists of Steve Gerber, Steve Englehart, Frank Brunner, Don McGregor. There's another big Marvel 70s writer.
Zanin, is this tied into Three Jokers?
A little bit.
No, I wasn't.
Oh, yeah.
Damn it, that's what I was going to say too.
Jim Starlin.
Jim Starlin. There, thank you, whoever.
No, Zanin.
Of course, Zane got it. Of course, Zane, you got it.
He said that the Joker that's dead now, or the Joker that killed Jason Todd is dead now.
Mm-hmm.
Is that tied into Three Jokers? Is that part of
Yeah,
that?
it was like a Morrison thing. Because here's the for anyone who missed out or didn't understand the Grant Morrison Batman run, which seemed like most people. Morrison's concept that DC and Jeff Johns and Three Jokers really was born from, Scott Snyder really ran with this concept, is the idea that Morrison created this idea to explain all the different variations of Joker over the years. Because sometimes Joker is like literally clown prince of crime. Other times Joker is a freaking serial killer. Other times Joker is like, hey, the gun is a bang, kind of a thing. So Morrison's concept was the idea that the Joker is an ever reborn trickster. So every time the Joker dies and he comes back to life because he's a force of nature, not a real human being, he represents the zeitgeist of the culture of that time. So in the Silver Age, Joker was a clown kind of a thing. But in the 80s and 90s, Joker was a flat-out serial killer. Other times Joker was like practically a mad scientist. Sometimes Joker is a criminal that just wears clown makeup. Other times the Joker is a manifestation of like pure chaos. And the cool thing that Morrison kind of tapped into is this kind of concept that the Joker is always a self-replicating idea, that he really does represent chaos of the culture of the time that gives birth to him, which is why technically Batman can never actually kill the Joker. And you could argue Batman has killed the Joker, theoretically or conceptually. Obviously not physically, because we're talking about archetypes and we're talking about fictional comic book characters. So stop applying reality to this conversation, as everyone is like, that's not how it works. That's what Three Jokers was kind of about. That's what Scott Snyder sort of introduced in his Batman run. It's what Morrison absolutely was playing into. But again, he writes comic books like they're magicals, like acts. And again, everyone goes, Brennan, shut the hell up. So yes, that is all tied together and stuff like that. And Zane, you are absolutely correct. The Joker that killed Jason Todd doesn't exist anymore.
Was that?
No, please.
Was that the only Jim Starlin Batman? Would that have been the only?
Might have been. I don't think. Anyone know? Did Jim Starlin write more? Oh no. Jim Starlin wrote the Prestige format miniseries, Batman the Cult, that Bernie Wrightson illustrated.
Oh, yeah.
So it was like, and that was at the same time, late 80s. So I think like late 80s, 90, 91, maybe Jim Starlin wrote a few Batman books. If anyone else knows any other Jim Starlin, we talked about The Death in the Family, The Cult. Anyone know any other Jim Starlin? Maybe he wrote a run on Detective that we were forgetting, or Batman or something like that. It'd be cool, but I'm pretty sure we're probably at the end. Oh, actually, we are beyond at the end.
Sorry, Jerry, we ran over a little bit.
Well, we're not running out. It's literally. So, Jerry, thank you very much for having us. Everyone, thank you. Enjoy the big game next week. We will not be on. We're not doing the local show. We're not doing the experience show. Fat Jackson will be back in 2 weeks. Hopefully, that gives me enough time to actually find more books.
Mike's show tomorrow on the Comic Book Shopping Network, 4 to 6, and links to everything, Instagram. Everything's on the Facebook page. Whatever you need, you can get in touch with Eric or email us or call the shop during the week.
Absolutely. And if anyone's watching this after the fact, any of the books that did not sell tonight, they just please contact us on Facebook, Instagram, call the shop, 215-963-0788. Please, we just want to sell books.
10 days. 10 days, people.
With that said, thank you very much for hanging out with us, everybody. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Enjoy the big game. Peace.
Bye.